matzah. Since I don't see the salt. Since I don't see the salt, but mustard with matzah.
Okay, so if you have a Gemara, we're holding here on Daf Chaf Zayin Amud Beis 27b, second line from the top. So if you have an R scroll, be 27b1. And we are holding in the Mishnah. Two is a very short Mishnah followed by another Mishnah. We're going to be discussing the halachas, the laws of can a shul be sold, if when a shul can be sold. So if you have the Gemara, the 3 lines on the top, Ein moichrim el sharabim liyachid. There's such a thing as a shul in a house. There was a NFL player from Pittsburgh.
What?
A NFL player, a football player. He moved to Florida, and he bought himself a very big, fancy house, expensive house from a Jewish family. They're a Syrian family, and in the house there was a shul. So this black NFL player, his name is Antonio Brown, he goes and he buys a house with a shul inside. So the people who, when he bought the house, they asked him, "What are you going to do with the synagogue?" He says, "I'm going to keep it. I have a lot of Jewish friends. Let them come over. I want to show them I have a synagogue in my house." So a shul in a house, but this was built for a shul. Does it have the kedusha, the same sanctity as a shul? How about a shul of a small shtibel, a small community? How about a shul of a big community? Like a communal shul, like say, like a 770. We already learned halacha before that before building any shul, any house of worship, always it's proper to take the board to make a condition that if we have or we find a better location, a better space, we are going to move, and the old shul, the old place is no longer sacred. It's al t'nai, condition. And even you could even have the original shul used as a multi-purpose room. We have over here in Pittsburgh that the shul is used as a gym during the week because it's built with that t'nai in mind, that the shul is sort of a tenant as opposed to the place being built for a shul. So you have right now the Mishnah is dividing between a Beis HaKnesses Shel Yachid and Beis HaKnesses Shel Rabim. A shul that's used by many, by the large public, the community, or a shul that's used by an individual. So Ein Meicher Nisha Rabim Yachid Nisham Read Noisa Mikdushasa Divi Reb Meir. Reb Meir says, and he's a more stringent opinion in this Mishnah, you cannot sell a shul that's used by a community to a shul that's going to be used only now by one person, by one individual. So let's say that shul in that house was being used by the community who ever lived inside of that gated community as a shul, and assumingly, because what are you building a shul if not to have at least a minyan of people come together? You cannot sell it to individual person who wants to use a shul for himself, because you are lowering the kedusha of the shul, lowering the holiness. Divrei Rebbe Meir. These are the words of Rebbe Meir, and you cannot. Are you able to see the screen, or it's a little far? It's a little bit of a downgrade, and you're not. And as we learned in the past few mishnahs, you're not allowed to downgrade any kedusha, anything from holiness. Amrulai. The sages told Rebbe Meir, Im Kain, Af lemi'ir gdoila li'ir ktana. You should not be allowed to sell any shul, a shul from a large city to a small city. Like, what does it mean, selling? How exactly do you do it? So there's different ways of doing it. A large city to small city could first of all mean that not necessarily the building is moving, but the congregation is moving. Let's say you can't sell a shul from a very large congregation of hundreds of people to a shul just barely a minyan scratching by, which has a minyan once a week. According to you, that you can't downgrade something of kedusha of holiness, you should not be allowed to sell a shul from a large city to a small city. Now, there's no halacha, and the Gemara takes it as a given that there's a halacha that it's accepted. You're allowed to sell a shul from a shul to a shul, as long as it's being used as a shul. It's fine. It doesn't matter how many people come inside, because all you need is 10 for kaddish and say Yiskadash Viskadash Shmei Rabbah. So once you have that. Yeah. 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 You can answer Amen. It's fine. Yeah, and remember Mrs. Sternberg from Parnites, whenever she would see any video of the Rebbe saying Kaddish or Bracha or davening, should answer always answer Amen, Amen Yesh Rabbah. You could answer Amen.
Detail how much, but after the riots in Newark, New Jersey, the community left.
Right.
The shuls were empty. They sold it. They sold it. I'm not sure to who, but it wasn't for another shul, and gave the money to Eretz Israel in reverse.
Right. So we're going to have that. We're going to have that exact scenario in the next Mishnah, which is coming up in another 5 lines. But that exact scenario you're talking about, there were the riots in Newark and the whole Jewish community emptied out. You had the East Flatbush neighborhood, right, which from the year 1969 to 1972, in 3 years, it went from having a sukkah on every single porch of every single block to not even being able to have a minyan in almost any of the shuls. Right, Rabbi Hecht was the last shul, and he barely scraped by a minyan. Right, there were Yeshiva Chaim Berlin had 2 buildings over there. They're middle of construction of a 3rd building, and then they sold all 3 and moved to Flatbush. And so yeah, the flight then was tremendous. And then when I moved there, I'm saying, and you see the aftermath. My house had a mezuzah. My neighbor's house still had one of these old mezuzahs up. People remember the Jewish people, who used to be there. There was a place where we would go vote. You weren't allowed to walk in because it was a church, but it used to be a shul. It was a Jewish community center, and many, many such examples. There's many buildings with luchas on there. Well, that's more of a topic for next Mishnah than as opposed to this Mishnah. But a shul which is, let's say, no longer in use, if people left, if it's sold by, it's called the Shiva Tuvi Ha'ir, the elected board in charge. So the 7 representatives. So 7 is the given number. Could be more, could be less. So then that building itself could be used for technically anything. But that will be next Mishnah, and the money has to be dedicated towards another shul. Said the Chachamim to Rebbe Meir, Amur Loi, Im Kain Lidvarecha, Im Kain Af Lemi Ir Gdol Ir Ktana. I should not be allowed to sell a shul from a large town to a small town, or from a large crowd to a small crowd. A lot of times, not necessarily was a shul built with deep foundations in the ground. It could be just a hut, sort of. In Vienna, Austria, there's a very large Ferris wheel, one of the largest in the world. And every single car is not necessarily a car. It's almost like a mini house. And it's very old. Matter of fact, the Rebbe Rashab was on the Ferris wheel together with the Frierdiker Rebbe. And the Rebbe Rashab, while he was on this wheel, right, on the wheel that goes around in this house, he wrote was house number 17. And he wrote some, or maybe came to his mind, and he wrote it down after, some explanation of Chassidus about the idea of Igulim and Yosher. Igulim is circles. Some friends of mine, when they went to Vienna, they wanted to go to see where is this Ferris wheel, and they found it, but they're looking for number 17 and they couldn't find it. Afterwards, after they went on this Ferris wheel, they went to like buy a drink at one of the some kiosk over there, and they saw the kiosk was one of the old cars, and it had on top of it the number 17. They sell mashka, they sell l'chaim, so maybe it's a place where they have Hebrangans now. It's appropriate. But perhaps the old shul was something like that, almost like a hut, like something you can move around from place to place. Perhaps that's what it means from Ir Gdola to Ir Ktana. Perhaps what it means is that you have a shul that's between the border of two cities. Now they're selling the rights to use the shul from the large city. You're moving it somewhere else, and the small city is going to use it. But whichever Now, selling a shul from one congregation to another is totally normal. It happens all the time. It happens everywhere. Go to Borough Park. Many of the shuls used to be a different type of shul. Right, where Chabad now used to be bells, where bells now used to be square. Things change around a lot. Go to Crown Heights, all the Chabad shuls at one point. One was a Gudis Yisrael, one was this shul, one was a that shul. Chayvei Torah was a shul called Chayvei Torah. Right, they used to call it Murphy's shul because in the basement there was a bar called Murphy's Bar. And if they were running low on a minyan on Friday night, they would go down to the bar and call someone up for the minyan. It's called Murphy's shul.
I was living for 2 years in Rochester, New York. So, yeah, 2 Orthodox shuls. One of them, I think, was called Bet Shalom. The other one was, everybody used to call it St. Regis. Why? Because previously it had been a Catholic church.
Interesting.
I can see complications. If the shul is renting a building, part of a building, they're very successful, they outgrow it, they decide to go somewhere else. Around the block, but they don't own the building that they left.
Right, they don't own the building, so there's no kedusha. There's no inherent holiness. The only kedusha could be is if the shul owned the building. If the property is bought in such a way that the shul never owned the building, and the shul was almost like a tenant in the building, they're one of the usages of the building, it never has a kedusha of a shul. So a Chabad house, when it's built or when to begin with, it's for a multi-purpose place. It's in order to have a bar mitzvah here. It's in order to have a Jewish comedy night. It's in order to have Jewish cook-off night, and in order to have a Purim party, and in order to have Yom Kippur services, right? All in the same room. And if you need to pack your shalach manis, you do it in the same room too. And if you're having a Shabbaton of kids, a camp coming, and you want to have 25 kids sleeping, it's going to be in the same room. It's bought as a multi-purpose room, and the shul is sort of just like a tenant of the shul. You have to make that tonight to begin with, that condition. There's some poskim, we learned this in last Zman Smichas Chaver, which say that even if you didn't make that condition, but nowadays it's almost implicit. But it's still best to say to begin with that this will be a multi-purpose room to be used for whatever it is. Whatever usage we need, and that's why you have a gym with basketballs and balls being thrown around in the same shul where people daven, because it was to begin with built having that in mind.
St. Regis was the more interesting.
Oh wow, sounds like it. You're going to St. Regis. Sane, I said, I don't know. I think I got the T with the.
There's been a Catholic church before.
Right, Rabbi in S. Monica, California, right? When he gave the Rebbe changes Simcha Monica, right? He gave the Rebbe a coin that the mayor of the city gave him, and the Rebbe took tape and covered over the first word, just left the S. So next time he gave it with a new coin he got minted with S. Monica, and the Rebbe says he changed it to Simcha Monica. Says the Gemara, Shapi Karmelera Banan, the Rebbe Meir seemingly is the Chachamim, the sages, have a very good claim to Rebbe Meir, rational argument. If you sell a shul to another shul, what could go wrong? Who cares if you're selling a shul from a large shul to a small shul? Right? A shul is a shul. If you have 10 people, 10 answering Amen Yeshmei Rabba, and you say Kedusha, a shul is a shul, and there's no issue to sell from a large shul to a small shul. And there'll be no issue to sell from a large town to a small town as well. So in that case, why should it be forbidden to sell from a public shul to a private shul? Let's say you have a private shul. This shul belongs only to members of a certain club. You got to be over 6 feet tall in order to be a member of the shul. And they don't let anybody else in. but you're selling it to a shul. What could go wrong with that? The Gemara answers, Meir says you cannot sell a shul from being a public shul to a private shul, but you could sell a shul from a large city to a small city. And here's the difference. When I'm selling a shul from a large town to a small town. Now, until now, this shul used to be the Pittsburgh shul, and now it became the Carnegie PA shul. Right. However, Meikara Kadisha, to begin with, it was always holy as a shul, and now it's staying a shul. Hashdanami Kadisha. Now, after you sold it, it's still a congregation, Oev Hashem of Carnegie PA, but it's still a shul. However, when you're selling a shul from a community to an individual, to a private shul, there is not as much kedusha. Right? There's some people. The Gemara doesn't add any word of context. Leke kedusha klal, there's no kedusha at all, or leke kedusha kol kach, not as much kedusha. The Ramban says that if you sell a shul to an individual, that shul still has sanctity, still holiness in that place.
Who said that?
The Ramban.
Ramban, you said.
Ramban. And therefore, whatever you can't do in a shul, right? You can't go set up a mattress and go to sleep in a shul. You can't do that even if the shul was sold to individual. But
what if the individual is wealthy and it's wealthy to fix up the shul and invite,
to make a new minyan in the shul, and he'll make a minyan.
Yeah.
And so in that case, it's no longer a yachid. It's no longer an individual shul.
Have you said I should wrap up with a
Ramban with the N.
with an N?
Yeah.
There's Nachmanides.
Nachmanides, correct. There used to be a common phenomena in a lot of the small towns in Europe called you had a parush. A parush was a person who separated himself from his family, from his wife, from everybody. He wouldn't look around at anything or anybody, and instead he would have a side room in the shul, and he would sit there and learn the whole day and the whole night. He would sleep on a bench. He would eat the beer minimum just to survive. Many of them would fast every single day. And they were held in very high esteem by many of the people of the town. And they were called a parush, someone who separates themselves from the world. Right? The Baal Shem Tov said that it's more of a novelty to be involved with the world and to bring Hashem into every single thing in the world. But parush, the idea is novel, and at least before the advent of Chassidus, it was not so uncommon to have a parush. And many cities would build a special beis medrash, a special room just for the parush. Some places would build a whole shul next to the parush, at the parush just for him, and then they would be able to. And the parush would have this room next door, and you can hear Amen, Kedusha, Baruch Hu, come out in order to for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, come out to hold the Torah and then go back to his room. When they go out, they would not look around them, or they would or they would wear a blindfold. So could you take a place that was a shul and make it into a house for a parush? Could you block off some of the shul and repurpose it to become the parush's house? Right? So this is what essentially it is. You're taking it from a shul of a public and you're making it into a shul of a private for one person. He's going to learn there, he'll daven there, but there's no minyan in that room. So this is what a mayor says. You don't have as much kedusha in a beis hakneses shel yachid, in a beis hakneses that belongs to this one individual person. Rabbanon, the Chachamim say there's no problem to sell a shul as long as it's going to be respected as a shul and used as a shul. Because if you start making differences, then I should say I'm not allowed to sell a shul from a overflowing crowd, right? A place which has many people, to a shul which has only a few people. A big city has a lot of people, and then it's a v'roivam hadras malach. When many people are in a place, it gives prestige. So you must, and since we're not concerned, you are allowed to sell a shul as long as it's being used for a shul. So as long as the money which is received for the sale is used to buy something, a shul or something else which is allowed to be used, for example, to pidyon shuyim, to redeem captives, or to get married, or to learn Torah. So as long as the money is being used for the proper purpose, there's no more kedusha, no more holiness in the original place, and you're allowed to use it for other topics, doesn't have to be a shul anymore. It could be used even for something else. For all objects except for 4 things. Which 4 things? Says the next Mishnah. We'll do just the Mishnah, and then we'll pull up some pictures over here. Okay. Let's do this next Mishnah. I'll move it like this. Mishnah. Chav Zayin Amud Bey, second Mishnah, about 8 lines down the page. Mishnah. Ein moichin beis hakneses el tnai. Shem yirtzu yachziruhu divrei Meir. Meir says that when you sell a shul, talking about selling a shul, a communal shul, not a private shul, and you're selling it to someone else, you have to make a condition that if we want to buy it back, we'll be able to buy it back and go back to the original owners. Because the mayor says that if you sell a shul in perpetuity, it's making disrespect for the entire institution of a shul. Right? There was the highest award is in the U.S. is called Medal of Honor, right? And in the UK, it's the Knights. I'm talking about the Victoria Cross. And so there was someone who received it, he died, and now their grandchildren were selling it, and there was a big outcry in the whole UK. You're disrespecting the whole award and institution of a Victoria's award, right? Victoria. Why? Because people are saying the fact that you're using it as a commodity to buy and to sell, you're already cheapening it. Correct? The same thing with many objects of the Rebbeim. If you're buying and selling it, the Rebbe says you're taking away the main thing is the kedusha, the holiness of it. So a shul, the mayor says, if for whatever reason was sold, the condition has to be made that if we have, for whatever reason, for whatever purpose, we want to buy it back, we're able to buy it back right away. The Chachamim and the sages say, Moichrin oisai mimkar olam. You're allowed to sell a shul and sell in perpetuity, sell it forever. And once it's sold, it's sold. You can't buy it back. The sale is final. And it could be sold for any use, chutz me'arba dvarim, except for 4 things. They for sure don't mention a house of idol worship, because that's not even something to think about. Talking about kosher things, but a shul cannot be sold for these 4 things. One of them is lemerchatz. I just brought up some old pictures of all these old things. Here, this is an old bathhouse, an old Roman bathhouse. Right? So, okay, so this is a merchatz. You see, it was built inside of a fancy building. If it was once a shul, you're not allowed to sell a shul in order to become a bathhouse. That's first example. Second example is the borsaki, a tannery. Here's a tannery. You see, they take all these hides and they would soak them in different types of tar and different types of things, and it smells very, very strong. Smells like the animal, except that you added in a whole bunch of other things. It's a very strong smell, if you have ever had the opportunity to smell them. And since it's such a disgusting smell, right? Even the people, they used to have the tanners used to have their own shul because nobody wanted to hang around them, be around them. And so you're not allowed to sell a shul to become a tannery. It's a place where it's also disrespectful for a shul. Third thing is l'tfila u'lebeis hamayim. Tfila is to become a place of a mikvah. Next. Yeah, here's see a bunch of ancient mikvahs all together, one after the other over here.
You cannot tell it to be a mikveh.
To become a mikvah in the place where the shul was. It's called a Beis HaTefillah because it's a place where someone who's tamei becomes tahar. And therefore a shul cannot become a mikvah. And the fourth one is a Beis Hamayim. A place of going to the bathroom. Here's an ancient bathroom. You cannot make in the place where shul was to make a bathroom over there. So all four of these uses are not proper. Tosfos over here adds on, and the halacha is you can't also use it to become a field, to plow, to grow things over there. Because one of the signs of a neglect is when grass starts growing in the place. So if you start planting and growing things there, you're not allowed to. Some say they can't use it for some say Beis Hamayim is not a place where going to the bathroom, a latrine, but rather it's a laundry, a place where they wash clothes, a laundromat.
So it seems to me that a place of idol worship should be on that list.
Yeah, but I think that's like so obvious, it wasn't even put onto the list.
And I'm saying that because that has happened often.
Has happened often?
Natural thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Rabbi Yehuda says, you could sell it for the purpose of serving as a courtyard. And the buyer could do whatever they want with it, even these four things. What is Rabbi Yehuda adding on? According to the Ran, Rabbi Yehuda is adding on that the Rabbi Yehuda is arguing with the Chaim and with the sages on two things. First of all, he says that you could sell it for anything as long as you don't stipulate when you're selling it what you're selling it for, and that after the sale the buyer could do whatever they want with it. But to conclude with the opinions, just to summarize the opinions over here in the Mishnah, your mayor says you're never allowed to sell a public shul for anything but a shul, and even after the shul was sold, it could be bought back by the original buyers, and the shul always has to stay a shul forever in perpetuity. That's your mayor. The opinion of the sages is that when you sell it, you have to make a condition that you are able to buy it back. Otherwise, the sale is in perpetuity. The sages say you're allowed to sell a shul, even to an individual, and the individual does not have to use it as a shul, use it for whatever they want, except for these four things, which we said are disrespectful to a shul. Now, Rabbi Yehuda says, when you're selling the shul, you just say you're selling it as a courtyard, and then afterwards it could be used for anything whatsoever, any usage at all. So I just brought up there's an interesting website, interesting book called Lost Synagogues of New York City. Now, here's just a list in Brooklyn, just all these shuls, which used to be shuls and now either are churches or are totally different buildings right now. And if you can see over here, it's small lettering. All these shuls over here. These are just some of the shuls, just the ones that they have pictures in this book. But Rochester Avenue, Petach Tikva, Congregation Petach Tikva, East Flatbush, Lenox Road, Congregation Friends of Holy Torah, 890 Lenox Road, East Flatbush. All these places, and some of them are around the corner from where I used to live. Used to once be shuls, and unfortunately, Abbas Achim, Bedford, Gates Avenue, 1403 Eastern Parkway, Congregation of Das Yeshurun. My father would always say, especially when you talk with those growing up at that time, they remember the Satmar Shul at this corner in Crown Heights, and they remember the Belber Shul and the Belzer Shul and the Kerastira Shul. And even shuls that were around, let's say the Kerastira Shul was around all the way till the 90s on Eastern Parkway. They had a mikveh there in the basement. The Rebbe used that mikveh many, many times, the Kerastira mikveh, and then it was sold. And so Kerastir bought themselves a new shul in a different location. So the person who bought it didn't keep it as a shul. He bought it to live in. He took the mikveh, filled it up with cement, and now it's his basement. And it's a Chabad family which lives there now. So that's at least when the shul was sold for, in a legal way. But a shul which is sold, you go to over here.
You said the Chabad family did through that?
Chabad family bought that building. It's a good location. There's some beautiful, beautiful shuls. You see the luchos and everything, the Stars of David, and it says, some Baptist, whatever, from a Greek Baptist, and you go through example after example. You see the Magen Davids, and it's another type of church, and Magen Davids with the luchos and the stained glass. And if only the Jewish nation, the Jewish people in America would have taken all the money and invested in shuls and invested in Jewish education, maybe a lot of these shuls would have still been around. They have, what does it say over there? Shah Denoira, I can't really read. Share Torah. That's the name of the shul, Share Torah. And Salem Missionary, whatever, Baptist. Yeah. So it's definitely, this used to be a Magen David, and they rearranged the stars to look a little different, or just took out pieces. You see the luchos, and right now that's, I'm not sure what it is. Might be a bar, I think. I remember going down Atlantic Avenue, and some people would say, we're having a party in a bar tonight. It's a very cool vibe, because it used to be a synagogue. All around the stained glass. Well, that's nice. 6th Street Community Center used to be a shul. And many of these shuls, unfortunately.
At least in Spain, when you see actually these churches with Hebrew inside, at least that over there, we just Spain forcibly turning them into churches, but for here, oh my goodness.
Okay. I said I ordered a few more of these svarim. This should be coming, I think today. Rabbi Darren will be here, Mitzvah Shem, tomorrow, 11:30. So in the meantime, I don't know if you'll be able to see over here on the screen. I'll try making it as large as possible. Okay. The Maimer Veyaddata could be learned much quicker, much faster if you're learning reading and translating, but we're going to learn it together with Rabbi Vigler's additions. The idea of the Maimer is Veyaddata Hayom you should know ki Hashem hu Elokim. Elokim, which is this entire world as we know it, is Hashem, Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And Yud Kei Vav Kei is the name of Hashem, which is the essence of Hashem. It's called Veyaddata Moskva, Veyaddata Moscow. Now, it was said in the year 1897. Now, the Rebbe Rashab was generally in Lubavitch. And there were times he was outside of Lubavitch. But Moscow was not the capital of Russia. The royal capital was Petersburg, and the arts capital, culture capital, but in the financial capital and in pretty much every other area, Moscow was a big city, and Moscow was the greatest capital of Russia, which had the largest Jewish population in the world back then, in 1897.
Well, you sometimes have actually where officially a certain place is the capital, but really the administrative places. So like in Germany, I think maybe you have it officially Berlin, but unofficially, the administrative is in a different place.
Interesting. So the Rebbe Rashab, he had to be in Moscow for his health, but he said this particular Maimer in Moscow, because there must be a special connection to Moscow. So if you look, and he brings just over here just some of the background and why this mimer is so necessary for the Rebbe Rashab to say every few years to purify the ear, because it's saying that Elikim, everything you see out there in the world, which that year 1897 was a year of tremendous turmoil, as we'll bring up soon. Havaya, everything you see Elikim is Havaya, is the essence of Hashem. There's no such thing as a world is a concealment or it's a contradiction to godliness, to Hashem. At this point, many of the things which the Jewish people had for centuries, and Russia was really, you could say, the last holdout, the last strongest holdout, thanks to the Mesiras Nefesh of the Alter Rebbe and the Rebbeim, where the vast, overwhelming majority of all Jews were steadfast in their Yiddishkeit, and right, but already from when Napoleon came and he brought the emancipation, broke down the ghetto walls, right, and the persecution of Jews officially stopped, and the mass and the Enlightenment movement, Haskalah, came, and the mass secularization, sometimes forced, sometimes voluntary, sometimes on their own accord, was taking place. And there, you can say only in Russia, where there are tremendous decrees, right? With the Alter Rebbe, where he fought tooth and nail against Napoleon, the Tsar should win. And there was a tremendous persecution of the Jews throughout the entire 1800s. So now we're coming to the end of the 1800s. And in the year 1897, he says that's the year the last Tsar of Russia was crowned, was coronated as king. Right? This is our Nicholas at his coronation. One of the famous things that happened by his coronation was, it's called the Chodinka tragedy.
Oh,
The Chodinka tragedy was that the Tsar was giving out free vodka and free sausages to whoever wanted, and he had about 1,200 policemen trying to control the crowd, and it basically became a stampede, and hundreds of thousands of people came, all were trying to grab free vodka and free sausages. And about 1,300 people died in the tragedy. Got there trampled to death. And the Tsar kept on celebrating and having a good time. And he had banquets that night, in the ball. And he barely, that's just some of the people who died at that tragedy. So that happened that year in 1897. And people got very angry, and it became a big revolution. As soon as he was, became king, there was already a huge movement to overthrow him. One of the people there was Vladimir Lenin, and that year, in 1899, the same year of this Maimir, he was sent to Siberia to being a counter-revolutionary.
you should have killed him.
Should have killed him. Thomas Edison invented a machine. Maybe you can recognize what this is called. You see it?
Oh, light bulb stuff, right?
Nope. Kinetoscope.
What's that?
It's his first movie projector.
Oh.
Before he perfected that. And that started entertainment, which you could say completely changed the landscape of the entire world afterwards. It became much easier to influence people, much quicker, much easier in many, many ways. Not only in good ways. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The first subway in America, which I think was the first major subway in the world, opened up, the Boston subway, right? It opened up also in the year 1897. So this is big news when it opened up. If you could see so well. So all these things are happening in this year, right? So now you're going from horse and buggy to subway. You're going from the end of the Tsar upheaval, people starting to say we're not just accepting the status quo, we want to have our own input. People starting to become influenced by many outside things. And the world seems to be, moving in many directions all at once. And it was swept along a tremendous amount of people, especially young Jewish minds, And so this Maimir, which is said in Moscow, in the capital of Russia, in the most influential city in entire Russia, was that everything that goes on in this world, Elikim, nature of the world, the darkness of the world is Havaya. It's the essence, it's Hashem, not just Hashem, but Havaya, the way it is, Shem Etzem, the essential name of Hashem. And if you don't see it, then you could just have the munam, the belief that, right, Veyaddata, you have to know it, you have to believe it so strong, it has to be like in your knowledge that it affects you, that you get absolutely no fear, and you should know that everything that happens is Elikim, to turn over the darkness into light. So perhaps this is one of the big ideas of this mimer, of Veyaddata Hayom. So we're going to explain throughout the mimer what is Havaya, which is a 4-letter name of Hashem, and what is Elikim. And we'll see from the very first example, from creation, from what happened by Egypt, what happened by Pesach, until what is Havaya Elikim to happen by Matan Torah. Okay, we'll continue with the mimer on all this, Simir Hashem, on Monday. And tomorrow, Hashem, Rabbi Darren will be